And last but not least, Tommy Oliver digitized me and put me into a PS1, which I think is pretty damn cool.
Haha, yeah, I did do that.
He's got a channel where he talks about culture and politics as well as video games and anime stuff, so go check him out.
Oh god, oh no, now I gotta perform on here! So today we're gonna be talking about Netflix, YouTube, the adpocalypse, and crazy, stupid theories that I think could be interesting if they developed. I'm gonna kind of wing it a lot more than I do on my normal vlogs here because I actually did just finish watching PSA Sitch's newest video and it changed completely some of my thoughts about what I was gonna record on today's vlog. So that's why it's late, and that's why I'm probably gonna be a little bit more confuzzled than usual, which is negligible because I usually sound like an idiot rambling in these videos anyway. So, we have this interesting problem on YouTube right now with the adpocalypse, and if you're not familiar with the adpocalypse, I highly suggest to do a plug back. Check out PSA Sitch's video series on the adpocalypse as well as this new video today. They're very informative and tackle the problem from an angle that I haven't seen a lot of other people do and change my opinion on the adpocalypse entirely. They're very good. To recap quickly his video today, he's talking about how the reason the adpocalypse hasn't seemed to have gotten any better here on YouTube with demonetization and stuff, despite most of the crazy shit coming from the mainstream media having blown over, is because YouTube wants to be a major player. They want to be the next Netflix. They want to be a big streaming service like Netflix and Hulu. And because of that, we, the independent content creators, that can say and do whatever we want because we're not beholden to advertisers, are like the black sheep of the platform and dragging it down. So if they can keep pushing us down the algorithm so we don't mean anything anymore and basically are just ignored and can make room for the Ellen DeGenereses and Jimmy Kimmels of the world to give their platform more of a professional, squeaky clean mainstream appeal to get deals like Netflix gets with all these original programming, that's what they want to do. They want to be the new Netflix. They want to be your cable box. That's the idea. And in their attempts to do this, they have to kind of dance to the jig that the advertisers want them to do because the advertisers are the ones who hold all the power in this situation. So they gotta be squeaky clean like Netflix and all this other shit in order to be taken seriously by the people who are in charge of fucking making all this original content, you know? To play with the big boys, you gotta put your big boy pants on, essentially. And YouTube wants to kind of expunge or minimize the impact and the relevance and visibility of fucking scumbags like me as much as possible so we don't tarnish their image. So they're gonna take everybody who built their platform and fucking push them out of the door so they can welcome in Jimmy Fallon. I think this is probably a poor strategy that'll probably backfire long term, but the short term money's definitely there, so we'll see how that plays out for them. That's one problem, right? That's one problem we as creators have to deal with. And here's the other problem that we're always bitching about is that we want an alternative to YouTube, right? Because YouTube's going down the shitter really fast. It's clear from points that PSA Sitch is talking about, and just kind of like we've all kind of parsed as people with functioning brains, that YouTube doesn't really want to support this kind of content anymore. So if we want things to keep going the way they have been, we need to go somewhere else, or another alternative has to arise in order to have YouTube pay attention again, which is odd because that was the original point of this vlog I was going to make, but now that I've seen PSA Sitch's new video, that's not even clear what they want to do anymore, that we don't matter. So, but just go with me on this for a second. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that YouTube does care about user-generated content to some degree still. Maybe, possibly, I don't know, but let's say they do. In order for them to take us seriously and to give a shit about listening to our needs, they would need a competitor of some sort that actually challenges their dominance in this space. So when that other player starts doing things that they're not and pulls these people away, they have to react in some way to kind of pull them back in. And the problem is that YouTube has this massive infrastructure, right? They're run by Google, which has tons of cash in the bank. They have these crazy fucking servers that can host all this content. That's really the big problem. You got like two bros or something who are like, dude, we gotta make a better YouTube. But you don't have the resources to have something like this function when you're not a corporation. The fact that you have to host all of this video is insanely expensive, and small startups just don't have the footprint to just kind of copy paste everything that's on YouTube directly onto a new platform. And because you need money, once you get to that situation, you're gonna have to start making business decisions like Google and YouTube does anyway, so you're gonna basically turn into them, because as soon as you need corporate money, you're gonna start listening to corporate interests. And that's really the big problem here. I made a video on this on my other channel a couple weeks ago. I'll link to it in the description. A couple of months ago in the description that kind of talked about why I think YouTube alternatives are doomed to fail. But then I was thinking, and this comes to the title of the video and probably why you clicked on it, is Netflix the hero we need? And here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to try and intertwine these 2 points after seeing PSA Sitch's newest video. YouTube wants to be Netflix. But what if Netflix decided to be like YouTube? Because the problem with making a competitor to YouTube is that we don't have the infrastructure. The infrastructure isn't there, and the money isn't there. Netflix, despite being like really fucking good, they're in a great position right now, and if the industry and the people running these companies see user-generated content as like scum, then this will never happen. But just go into theoretical land with me for a second. Netflix has the infrastructure because they account for like 40% of all the internet bandwidth in the world. So they have the infrastructure to support streaming. Clearly, they can do that very easily. They already have that built up. And here's the other interesting part. Netflix isn't reliant on advertisers because they're a subscription service. So if Netflix really wanted to, because they're making tons of money from subscriptions from people like me and you who don't have advertising needs to be taken care of and thought about, they could host basically whatever they wanted on their platform and not have to deal with fallout from losing ad deals because they don't have ad deals. They don't run ads on Netflix. It's all based on people paying subscriptions. So maybe Netflix wouldn't want to tarnish the Netflix brand by bringing user-generated content in. What if they made another site that was run by them but branded differently, so marketed to a completely different thing, and they could just run that based on the Netflix money they already have? They have a revenue stream that isn't dependent on advertisers, and if you kept it on Netflix, like you said, okay, Netflix now has a user-generated content section, and the only difference is that it's not publicly facing like YouTube is. You have to have a Netflix subscription in order to view it. That wouldn't be a big deal because almost everybody has a Netflix subscription anyways, but that would also mean because you're not running ads on those videos, the money would come from subscription services, from the subscriptions of people who already subscribe to Netflix, so they wouldn't be as beholden to advertiser bullshit and lead us down this rabbit hole of retarded crap we're dealing with on YouTube if Netflix did it. So, is Netflix actually going to do this? Probably not, especially now that I've heard this perspective from PSA Sitch saying that user-generated content's on the way out, these companies don't like it, we're disgusting, they hate us. This probably won't happen, but I feel like out of all the companies, Netflix is in a good position that if they wanted to try and take a piece out of this user-generated content market, they probably could. And wouldn't it be funny, after all these years of YouTube chasing to be the next Netflix, Netflix just turns around and is like, fuck you. You blew up your user-generated content platform. We're gonna take it from you. So now we're the best of both worlds. And Google, you have nothing. Have fun with search. That's all you got. Go fuck yourself. That'd be hilarious. I would laugh forever, all the way over my new Netflix.com/whatever profile. Anyways, that's all I got. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.